Welcome to today's special interview. I'm beyond excited to be joined by someone whose work has inspired many of us, Darryl Anka. For 40 years, he has been channeling Bashar, who helped countless people with his profound teaching and personal transformation and spiritual growth. I've been personally fascinated by Darryl's journey and the way you brought Bashar's message to people, to the world. And I'm really grateful for you to be here. And thank you so much. Thank you for giving this time to us to chat with us. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
If someone asks you, what is the core message of Bashar's teaching? How would you explain that?
His core message is to follow your passion, because he explains what that is and why it's important, and how what we call passion or excitement, creativity, is actually representative of the frequency of energy that represents our soul. It represents who we are. That's why when we get an inspiration, when something contains a lot of attractiveness and passion, and we're willing to act on it, then we're following our life path under the guidance of our higher mind, of our soul. So it's an extremely important principle that he talks about that allows us to upgrade our energy and live our life path in the way that is most beneficial for us and for everyone else. Because when he talks about the idea of acting on your passion, he's talking about it in terms of acting on your passion in service to others, in service to humanity, by sharing the gifts that you have to give, not holding back on who you are, letting people see who you are, to be a living example to others that they can also follow their passion, live their truth, be true to themselves, and that makes life work much more easily. So he comes up basically with what he calls the formula, which is a 5-step principle, like an instruction manual, for how we actually are already creating our physical reality experience, so that we can do it more consciously, with more awareness, and thus experience our life path in a more aligned way. So that's his fundamental principle around which everything else revolves.
I love that formula. I actually used it, and it's so interesting because when I heard about it and I started looking it up, I found out whatever I achieved in my life, somehow, like, I use that formula.
Right. Sometimes people can do it instinctively.
Yes.
But he's laying it out for people that don't quite have a handle on how that works. Again, it's for people to use it consciously, be aware of what they're doing, so they have more control over it. They can guide it a little bit more easily, and they can be more receptive to the guidance from their soul when they're doing so.
Actually, you answered one of the questions that many people also asked. They were asking, how can I find my passion? How can I know what is my mission in this world? Which you explained.
Yeah. Everyone's mission in general is the same. And that means to be yourself, to be who you truly are, to discover who that is and act out as who you truly are. That's your mission. The expression of your mission is different for everyone, of course, because everyone is unique. What excites you, what inspires you, what you're passionate about is going to be different. And you're going to do it in your unique way, along the path and the method that works uniquely for you. So you're going to be doing it differently than anyone else. But it's still generally about being who you are. That's your purpose. That's your mission. And following the formula makes it much easier. And to answer the question specifically, how do I find my passion? When Bashar talks about the idea of acting on your passion, a lot of people misunderstand that means it has to be something that's like a large scale thing that comes with, blaring trumpets, and it's your life's work, and it's it's something that is a large scale project or a career. Yes, it can be, and yes, sometimes it will lead to that, but it can start small. So when he's talking about acting on your passion, he means start on everyday things. If you don't know specifically a larger way to express it, look at all the things you have the availability of doing, of acting on, what you're capable of acting on any given day. Really simple stuff. take a walk, read a book, talk to a friend, eat a meal. Whatever the normal options are that are available to you, always find the one that is a little bit more attractive, a little bit more exciting, and act on that first. Then, by following the formula, it will start to snowball and lead you through synchronicity to attract other opportunities that will get perhaps bigger and bigger and bigger and start to represent something that might become a lifelong project or a career or something like that. But just start small with everyday things, and it will build up to the other things. So it's very easy to find your passion. But the thing you also have to be aware of is being very honest with yourself about what your passion truly is. Because sometimes people can fool themselves, they can be hiding what their passion is and think that something else is their passion. So you have to have an ability to investigate yourself with transparency and honesty to know the difference between true passion and anxiety, because a lot of times we will disguise anxiety as our passion and go in that direction when we really need to be doing something else. And a lot of times we will disguise passion as anxiety so that we can avoid doing it when we actually should be acting on that. But so you have to have real honest self-investigation about why you're choosing to do what you're choosing to do, why you're saying this represents your passion or it doesn't, because many times people will dampen their passion because they think they have to go about acting on it in a certain way according to society, what they've learned growing up, and that may not be the way that works for them. And so they will look at something and say, well, I'm not excited about that, just because of the way they think they have to approach it. Whereas if they use their creativity and imagination and find another way of doing it that works for them specifically and uniquely, they might find that certain things are actually capable of representing their passion if they can go about doing it and acting on it in a different way. So it's a big process of understanding yourself. Goes back to the ancient saying, know thyself, honest self-investigation, and asking yourself, why am I choosing to do what I'm choosing to do at any given moment? Finding if it's based on fear-based or negative beliefs instead of positive beliefs, instead of your passion, and being really clear about what it is that's true for you and what it is that's not. He said, Dad, everyone dreams. He said, no, I don't dream. I said, well, what do you mean you don't dream? You just mean you don't remember. He goes, no, I don't dream. I said, well, how do you know you don't dream? Well, because when I go to sleep, I lift up out of my body and I turn over and I watch myself sleep. And I go, what? You're astral projecting and all you do with it is turn over and watch your body sleep? He goes, well, yeah. He says, why don't you go anywhere? He says, where would I go? So it's just, it was so, he thought everyone slept that way. Thought everyone would rise out of their body in their astral form and turn over and just watch their body sleep. And I said, oh my God, you're doing something that a lot of people would give their right arm to know how to do, and you're just doing it instinctively. He said, I guess.